readers and writers of the internet, welcome back. So this video is going to be a kind of reaction or my thoughts and opinions on cover changes in a few books. I've always enjoyed watching other people's opinions on cover changes, and I always like to see, you know, what changes like over time, like what's popular, what's trendy, that kind of stuff. So I thought this would be a fun video. I have not read some of these books, so as far as this cover relates to the book more, I can't really say. This is just more my opinion on like the actual cover themselves. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Let's get into it. I will be putting the new covers over here and the old covers over here. So, Shatter Me. Oh my gosh. You can definitely tell that this book was written in like the early 2000s. This has the aesthetic of it. It's a pretty girl with like a very loud background. And by the way, just a heads up, if I say that I don't like a cover, this is not an attack for any cover artists out there. You know, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to be mean to anyone, you know. But yeah, I don't know what what they were thinking with this. It's a girl just with like sparkles around her. Oh, this is bad. The new one, 100% glow up. I love the eye, and I love what they've done with the eye, and I liked how like the short stories, like the eye is closed. I've always liked that aspect of it, especially the first one. The what they've done with like the water and the trees, it's very pretty. I will say this though, as the series has gone on, it seems like they're kind of running out of like things to do with the eye, and they're kind of getting bored with it. But as for this first cover, it's absolutely beautiful, 100% new. Delirium by Lauren Oliver. Oh, it's another girl. It's like half of her face. There's like a flower next to her, and she's just staring at us. I've never been a fan of this kind of cover. I just haven't. It's never worked for me. I just don't like it. I hate it. I hate it when they put like real people's faces on covers. I'll do illustrative, I'll do painterly, I'll do those kind of faces all day. I hate the real faces. Yeah, no, I really don't like this. And I'm not gonna lie, the redo is not my favorite. Like, it's not ugly, but to me, I can't tell if it's like rocks or feathers that are making up this heart. So it's literally just like a thing against like a blue background. Looking at like the sequels though, I think I like them just a bit better. I think the second one's gonna be my favorite. But as for the first one, it's not my favorite. Like, it's not bad, it's just almost not as creative as I would have liked. But I'm still gonna go with the new. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I feel like a broken record at this point. It's a girl just staring at us. Besides the little dagger that she has right there in her arm, I have no idea that she's an assassin. I have not read any Sarah J. Maas's books. They're not my most like highly up there for me to read. But I do know that Throne of Glass is about an assassin. So that dagger is like the only indication. So, and then the city, it almost looks like a ghost city. It makes me think like this is like a paranormal thing, and it's my understanding this is not a paranormal story. Yeah, don't like it. The new one, not my favorite either, honestly. Never been a fan of the full body shots, even though this one isn't a real person. It's a full body shot. You got some glowy stuff behind her. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like either of these, but if I had to choose, it'd be the newer one, I guess. The Luke's by Anna Godberson, I believe it's pronounced. no, surprise, surprise, I hate the old one. It's literally just a girl in a big, poofy dress. Now again, I haven't read this book. It might be that this is just a pure romance book, but from this cover, I get the sense that this is pure romance. Like, nothing really special to it. It's just, you know, girl meets guy, falls in love, boom. You know, I really don't like this. I really don't. I'm just gonna stop now before I go on a rant. The new cover, I actually really like. I actually really like this one. I like the little details of like the ribbons and like the pearls kind of, you know, making up the design. And again, I could be wrong when I'm saying this. I haven't read it, but it almost makes me feel like it takes place like in the 1920s or something like that. It kind of has that feel to it. The new cover is actually so good, and I like it so much that like it almost makes me interested in the series. But I'm probably not gonna read it, but like that's how good this cover is. Like it makes me want to find out what this book is about. So new one, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Instead of a girl, we now have a shirtless guy on the cover, so we're advancing in the world, it seems. First one, it's a shirtless guy like standing over a city with like glowing stuff happening around him. Not my favorite. Don't particularly like it. I believe though this was the cover that I grew up with. So it like kind of has a sentimental place in my heart, but I still don't like it. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a big fan of Cassandra Clare's covers, really, for anything. I don't like them Clockwork Angels, blah, 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 blah. I like the special edition covers the most. But in terms of, like, regular covers, I've never been a fan. The new cover, it's a guy kneeling. You know, that's about it. It kind of does a bit more to show you like there's like a little, I don't know, light coming out of his finger to show like magic over a book, and there's a sword, so that kind of tells you that's more fantasy than the other one. I will say this though, the Shatter Hunter like symbol that's in the background of the new one, I wish that would have been the focal point and they would have worked off of that. Maybe added like light around it or like a weapon near it or something like that, and that would have been the symbol that they used for the cover instead of the guy. The color scheme is a bit better than in the old one. It's more of like a reddish gray than like a blue and a green. But again, still not my favorite. I still don't like it, but if I had to choose, new one. Anna and the Fringe Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. If you guys watched my anti-TBR, which I will link right up there for you guys, I said that I wouldn't be reading this. I'm still holding on to that claim, but that doesn't mean that I can't react to the cover because it's a cover. It's a real person. And then there's a guy's hand in there. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. They're just sitting on a bench, and the words are like on the bench. The grass is ridiculously high. It's like touching the bottom of the bench. I do like the Eiffel Tower in the background. I kind of wish that would have been more of a focal point instead of people. As for the new cover, I actually really enjoy this cover. I enjoy the warm kind of colors that we have going on here with the purple, pink, and a little bit of orange. I like that the font is bigger and the title is really showcased here. It's simplistic. I've always kind of gone for more simplistic covers. I don't like it when they're too busy or have too many elements. So definitely new one. Diviners by Libba Gray. This one is kind of a hard one. So the original, it's not my favorite. It's a bit more illustrative, but with that background, I kind of wish that cityscape wasn't really there. I wish it was a bit more plain, maybe more, you know, purple. It just takes my eye away from like what's supposed to be the focal point. However, I do really enjoy the gold and the black that they have going on here. I do get a 20s feel from it. It's not my favorite though. I honestly don't know if that's supposed to be like a keyhole or something. The eye is kind of off-putting. I'm not a fan of like the layout. I feel like if this cover was laid out differently, and they really just focused on that main image that they had, I would really be liking this one, but they didn't, so it's not my favorite. And then in terms of the new one, I think this one is kind of better. I like the font just a bit more, how it's kind of like a neon. However, the pearls, I don't know if the pearls are like a significant part or anything in the story, so I can't really say that, but it is kind of weird to just see like a broken thing of a necklace of pearls. It gives me like Batman vibes. Yeah, they kind of gave me what I was looking for in terms of like more simplicity. And this one, but I still don't love it, but I do like it just a bit better than the old one, so no. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. The first one, it's not my favorite. I kinda like it. I feel like if the font of the lettering was a bit different, I'd be really all for this one. I kind of like how it's darker. You just have silhouettes of people. You kind of have like the fire or ashes and ember kind of leaking in from the bottom there, and you see a desert, so you know where it takes place. I'm just not a big fan of the font or really the colors that they have going on there. So yeah, I feel like if they just changed that, I'd really love this cover. And in terms of the new one, I'm about to get a lot of backlash. I never really liked this cover. All the new covers for the series I've never really enjoyed. And it took me the longest time to find out that there was a man in the new cover, just kneeling, because it's red on red on red, and I couldn't see him until one day I was just looking at the book, and I saw him like, oh, that's a person down there. Okay, but yeah, I mean, you have one of the main characters, I assume, blending into the cover and being kind of hard to see. I do like the font and the white background a bit more. God, this is a real toss-up, honestly. I think just color scheme-wise, and because I do like the font better, I'm gonna have to go with the new one, but it was hard-earned. Flynn Caster by Cinda Williams Chima. Forgive me for mispronouncing that. The first cover I actually don't hate. It's not my favorite though. It's just a jewel kind of floating in there, but I do like the detail with the jewel. I think I can see like a snake wrapping around it. I like the color scheme associated with this artifact and the fact that it's like kind of glowing. However, I have not read this book, so I have no idea if this jewel is like a main focal point. I'm going to assume so, and that it has to do with fire. The background, not my favorite. It's another cityscape. I kind of wish that they would have kept it like the, you know, kind of brownish red and then like down to black or something like that. I feel like I would have liked it just a bit better then. However, I will say this. The jewel, it does not give me any information about what this book is about. Whereas in the new cover, I understand it's about a girl, fire. I understand who the Flynn Caster is because by original, looking at the old cover, I assumed that the Flynn Caster was the jewel, but now I'm kind of thinking, wait, maybe this girl can actually cast flames. So the new cover clears things up. I do like the illustrative artwork of it. I've always been a sucker for illustrative covers and stuff like that. The background, I love. Color scheme, I love. I like the dark brooding type of atmosphere that she has going on. I like that you can see all of her weapons, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Landslide, even though the first one is really, 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 really pretty, I'm gonna have to go with the new. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This first cover, you guys, I cannot explain to you how much I hate this cover. Oh, it's two silhouetted people. One's in blue, one's in yellow, and it takes you a while to even spot them. Like, when I first saw this cover when it was released, I just thought those were like color blobs. I didn't know what they were until I saw like the outline of like a nose and a lip. I'm like, that's a human. I don't like it. I don't like it. For the new one, I actually really like this one. It's illustrative. I will say I'm kind of confused in terms of that I see a dragon and like a sword and like a wand, I believe, because I thought that Rainbow Rowell only did contemporary, but this makes me think that this is not contemporary. But yeah, if this is not contemporary and this is more fantasy, then the first cover really doesn't get that across, whereas the second cover it does manage to. I love the purple. I love the purple of the dragon that it provides. I like the way the characters look. Obviously, new. Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. Okay, the first cover I don't hate. I don't know. It's just a symbol against the background. I know that's kind of said what I wanted in like a few previous ones. But this symbol, I don't know what it is. It's pretty, but like with the Flynn Caster one, you get a sense that it's about like fire. This one, I just see kind of like electricity, and I haven't read this book, but I know that this is like a pirate book, so I assume that that's not supposed to be electricity. Yeah, it looks like flowers are making up the thing. I mean, it's pretty. It definitely is. And I don't hate it. I would buy it, with that cover on. I wouldn't be disappointed in receiving that cover. I just don't particularly know what it's about. In terms of the new one, this one is actually really, really, really gorgeous. My only, and this is going to be such a nitpick, but my only gripe that I have with this one is that it looks more like a poster than a cover. And that's not particularly a bad thing, it just doesn't look like it's a book. It looks like it's like a movie poster, a poster for a book, a promotional piece. It doesn't, it doesn't look like it'd be slapped on here or anything like that. However, that being said, that's not particularly a bad thing, again, and this is really, really, really pretty. Illustrative. I know now that it takes place like on a ship and it involves pirates. Really, really, really pretty, gorgeous water colors here in backgrounds. I really like this one. New. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I was never around. I really didn't see this book when the old covers were out. I have seen other booktubers who still own like the old covers, or they remember when there was like a change. I never saw it. I just knew the new cover, which is honestly why I was interested in the book in the first place, because the cover was so pretty. But looking at the Shadow and Bone, the old one, I will say it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Color scheme is kind of off. One of the only things that I do like of this cover, and I wish it kind of was transferred onto the new one, are the buildings. It kind of gives you a location. It's Leigh Bardugo said, I believe, that this is more of a Russian-inspired fantasy. Unlike most fantasies, it doesn't take place during like a medieval Europe time frame right there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I actually enjoy that setting the most for my fantasies. It's what I've written my fantasy in with Ashes of Revenge. It's there's no specific location, but it's obviously medieval, like UK, France, that kind of stuff during that time period. So I do like that they had the buildings there, because it automatically sets it apart from the other fantasies, especially YA fantasies. I will say though, I'm not a fan of the white horns coming out of the buildings, and I know this because I've read the book that those are actually the stag's horns, but if I had not, I just thought that was like an artistic detail, and it's kind of awkward. Now, despite this being like more of a muted cover, there's quite a bit of a clash going on here. The background is kind of like a musky blue or a light grayish, and then you have red and black and white, and then the title is black and red. And while those elements look fine by themselves, combined it just creates a bit too much confusion. So not my favorite. The new one I absolutely adore. I think this cover might be my favorite out of the entire trilogy. I love it. It kind of looks like marble. It shows you the stag, in the forefront. That's really all the imagery that you have going on here. It's just beautiful. So obviously, new. Grave Mercy by Robin LaFevers, I believe. We have another woman. We have another body of a woman holding a crossbow. I get what they were going for with kind of the princess elegant type feel, and then, crossbow as the weapon, so it's kind of clashing. But it just looks awkward. Yeah, it just looks awkward. Those two things don't really mix well in like a cover, if that makes sense, or like a picture when you're watching it. But it mixes more so well with a book because you can use your own imagination, kind of change things up. But in terms of actually seeing it, it doesn't, in my opinion at least, portray itself well. The background is just a random castle, not my favorite. It's just white. There's really nothing else to say about the first cover. I don't like it. The second one, absolutely beautiful. I love the color scheme that it has going on with the red and silver. The one thing that I don't like are the two wolves coming in. I don't know if they play an important part in the story. That could be the case, but they're just kind of, they look like they're positioned in front of the crossbow, and I kind of would have liked there to be a bit more negative space around the crossbow. The wolves take away from that really, but that being said, it is a beautiful cover with the crossbow and then the design behind it. So, new. Royals / Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins. Now, I used the slash in here because not only did this book get a cover change, it got a name change as well. First cover, Royals, I mean no disrespect when I say this to anyone who worked on the cover, or, anything like that, or even the author. I mean this no disrespectful way. It's just what I see when I look at it. It looks like it's almost like a journal for a 5-year-old. It's like, look, I'm a pretty princess. Here's my pink journal, sparkles, that kind of stuff. It doesn't, I know that was one of the worst descriptions I've ever given in my entire life on here, and I am sorry. But it's just pink and it's sparkly, and it reminds me of like a old JoJo Siwa like merchandise that she might sell. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me want to read the book. It's like, oh, this is targeted towards 10-year-olds. Prince Charming though is absolutely pretty. I love the light pink. I love the red. I love the illustrations that are in black and white and gray. It's just, they're so pretty. I love covers like this, honestly. And I'm glad that she also did a name change for the book. But yeah, obviously new. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. It's another girl. I am sick and tired of looking at real people on my covers. I do not like it. I want to riot. This has to stop, and I'm glad that this trend did stop because it's awkward. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't like the way that they look. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm so glad that this like new illustrative, picture painting type style is taken over because that's gorgeous. This real person crap. moving on. Anyway, yeah, we have a new girl. Honestly, if I'm being honest here, the title looks like an afterthought. It looks like they did the photo, like, that's perfect. And then they're like, wait, we forgot the title. In the middle, right there. And it's like so small, like the woman's face takes up more of the cover than the title does. And then you have like this weird gate in the foreground with VA on it. I guess those are the gates to the Vampire Academy. But honestly, I just now realized the VA. Like, it's hidden. Like, these smaller details are hidden. I hate this cover. The new one, slightly better. We have the same girl, just in the background. I would have liked it if she was not there at all. Because it's kind of awkward, because with the VA now taking up the forefront, and yes, the title is more, noticeable, but with those taking up the forefront, part of her face is like, part of her face is concealed by the lettering, so you only see a nose coming out and then an eye like peeking through, and it's awkward. It's like just pieces of like a face that look just like thrown on there. I would have liked it if, and they have like a, I just blanked on what it's called, but it's where you go from like light to dark. But they have that going on there. It's like a darker or a lighter red, and then they bring it down to a darker red. That would have been so pretty if they just kept that effect going without the girl there. And then the silver of the VA would have been, even better. Honestly, yeah, my only gripe with this one is that there's still a face. That's about it. So, no. And there you have it. Those were my thoughts and opinions on cover changes. Let me know what you guys think, if you want me to do this again. I actually really enjoyed this. Also, low-key kind of thinking about doing like a US versus UK/Europe covers or stuff like that. Just let me know what you guys think, what you guys would like to see from me next. I know that a lot of the times I did do new in this one, but I think out of the options that I did, they were published during the time where like real people were used on the covers, and it was just awkward, and I just don't like that style. I just don't. So yeah, sorry about that. Next time I will try to find a bit more, maybe that were posted, I don't know, later when they stopped using the people, so then it can be like a real competition. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on all my other social media, since it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Those will be listed down in the description below, like always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!